Hello, hi everybody. So I did some experimenting the last few days with using my phone to go live. I don't know if you've noticed, but it's absolute pants. It keeps cutting off parts of my videos for some reason, my phone. So I think I'm just going to get back to using my computer to do my video. So it's just much easier. But yeah, last week's been a bit tough, losing my job and everything like that, and they weren't comfortable with somebody having a disability in there, and I've been working a lot on myself to kind of like cheer myself up. And I always feel like sometimes when you're going through something, you're like a rough patch or something like that, or you're working through a bit of anger and that, meditation doesn't seem to work for me. So like there's days where you're tired, you come home from work and you're like, no, I can't just sit still, like my mind's going crazy. And I really think that chanting just gets me out of the negative zone. It gets me like, whew, come back to me. And I'm so much happier, and it brings so much joy. It brings so much balance. I literally am obsessed with chanting and have been for years. So I'll tell you literally how it started. Okay, so a few years ago, a friend of mine had her own cafe. And she gave me the CD and she said, this is Satsang, the Violet Flame. So the violet flame is an energy that transmutes negative energy into pure light. So basically this was Saima talking basically about the violet flame and, saying I am the violet flame, an incarnation in my world, in the world, and everything like that. And she told me that she used to leave it on in her cafe at night because she was living in a very kind of rough area. Her cafe was in a rough area, so she used to leave it on at night to remove the negative energy out of her cafe, so she would attract really happy customers. Very clever. But basically what happened was I ended up bringing the CD home, and she was telling me how obsessed she was with it, and I was like, we'll see, I'll put it on. And I ended up having it as one of my cornerstone meditations for like several years, like maybe 10 years. Daria was somebody I did my Reiki training with, so it's a very long time ago now that I got introduced to Saima. So basically, Saima is a guru. She's from Mauritius originally, and she would be a student of Satya Sai Baba, who will be very well known in India as very larger than life guru, very happy, bubbly, and incredible master, basically. Now, Sai Baba passed away a few years ago, but Saima is still going around and still doing her tours and stuff like that, and she has a lot of healing workshops and stuff that she does. So through Daria, I met Tom Galligan. Okay, Tom was at one point being a protector for Saima energetically, and he came up to me and we instantly had a connection. He was like, wow. And he knew I taught meditation, and at one point he couldn't teach what's called Satsang anymore. And I'll explain what Satsang is in a minute. So he asked me to cover his Satsang for a little bit, and he gave me a suitcase full of stuff, and he said, okay, go here, this is what I want you to do. So I taught Satsang for about 6 months, and it really got me into the spirit of Satsang. And ever since I did that, I realized that this is the core of who I am. I've always had an attraction to kind of the Hindu gods, and despite being brought up in a Catholic manner in Ireland, but atheist family, I've always felt that things like reincarnation and stuff like that maybe suit me more. Like at the age of 15, I was talking to Hare Krishna on the street. He gave me a book on reincarnation, and I was like, this makes more sense to me than the Bible. And I was very, very confused that I was like, I know this. When I was reading it, I was like, wow, I was from India. I think I reincarnated from India. So I've always had a very strong connection with India. I have had books on Indian mythology. I have actually a good few Indian friends, funny enough, and friends from Bangladesh and stuff like that as well. I've always just felt that, there's a huge connection there. So basically, I taught Satsang for 6 months, and basically what you do is, Saima would have been initiated into the lineage of a lot of masters. One of them would include Jesus Christ, El Morya, lots of other profound ascended masters. So what you do is you have your pictures of all the masters in Saima's lineage, and then you chant. And, you know, you can devote onto the picture. You can devote your satsang chanting to them, or to a particular subject, to a person. And I actually went to see Saima in Cork a few years ago, and my experience was just, I can't explain it. She started walking up the hall, and I turned around, and like my friends that were there with me, they were like, Marielle's picking up on something. And they were like, what do you see? And I was like, she's coming. I can feel her walking up the hall. And I was like, wow, that's like, I mean, I've been around, like, I know a huge amount of the holistic therapists and healers in Ireland. Like, I used to do all the circuits and stuff like that. And I was like, literally, like, I turned around and my hand was in my heart. I was watching her, and the whole room went silent. And there was part of me that was the whole guru thing is a scam. And there was, again, there's a lot of embedded stuff from society, negative stuff about, like, you know, scams and cults and all that kind of stuff. Because everything that isn't Catholicism can be made out to be a cult, or, you know, a mainstream religion. But, like, you know, there was a lot of people there, and you could see those questions on the face. And then there was other people who were up the top who knew who Saima was, and they had this face of bliss, and they were like, it's time for this moment. Wow, I love this moment every time she comes in. So I was just looking at the whole room, and then she walks in, and it was like she was floating. So she walks up the room, and everyone in the room had their hands on their heart chakra. It's like they were like, whew, like, God, this is intense. And my own sister came with me, big atheist, has no belief in anything, but we happened to have a spare ticket, told her to come, and she was there, and she was like, and when I asked her afterwards, what did you think of Saima? She was like, wow. And it was just like, it hit her energetically. And she was like, I'm not interested in ever seeing Saima again. But, like, that was, yeah, I can't pretend there wasn't something there. And she doesn't have an interest in the spirituality side of things, but she acknowledged enough that there was something fantastically magical going on in that room. So Saima walked past everybody, and I feel like she made eye contact with every person going through the room except for me. That drove me crazy. I told Tom afterwards, and he was like, she probably did that on purpose, because she knew well that you wanted her to see you, but she wanted you to check your ego. And I was like, oh my God. You know, I was like, that makes a lot of sense with me. So anyway, she goes up to the top of the room, and she starts talking, and I'm blown away by how normal she is. How she's like, that's a whole lot of bullshit. Don't be talking to yourself like that. And, you know, you could be sitting beside a negative man, sleeping beside a negative man. You're going to absorb his negative energy, and eventually, you know, you can do as much energy work as you want. You're going to absorb that stuff. And, like, just some really, really profound things, but simple things that she came out with. And you could tell that she had definitely thought in depth about every situation. And if there wasn't a situation, she would pause and she'd wait until she knew. And she just sat there, and she was so chilled out, but she was beautiful. She had her hair long, and looks like she had used oils, and she had this beautiful sari on. And I was just like, this is just a person who's here doing this job full time, who's devoted 100% to it. And from that day onwards, I loved Saima. Like, I just saw her as a down-to-earth person who was like, no bullshit, but genuinely actually seemed to want to take care of people. You see all the kids in the room rushed her. And, like, you know, and she was just surrounded by these kids, and she kept reaching down and like, you know, messing their hair and stuff like that. And I was just like, this woman's like awesome. She's compassionate. She's loving. But the look in her eye, when you looked in her eye, it was like, wow. Like, she was just like honest love, just pure love. And it was like, you could tell when people do love meditations, they have that aura about them, and you just feel like, God, I'd love a hug from that person. She just made me feel so happy, so safe. So I decided, okay, what is Saima? But she's a guru. So she talked about a thing called devotion. So, say for instance, I'm a person who's been through bad relationships. I've, you know, problems with my parents, anything like that. I have negative history basically, and I've got blocks. So how do I get to the point of learning about love? So you use an image, a devotional image to focus on, to decide I'm going to love this person. It's easier to do it with gurus because you're already thinking like, this is an ascended master, this is a person who has worked so much on themselves that they are pure love, and it's safe for me to love this person. So it is easier to like focus on a guru. You can do it on a family member. You can put up a picture of them and decide to worship them every day if you want to. The nice thing about worshiping a guru is, you know, you're going to get something back in return, and there's always this like equality of flow. You know, good things come into your life when you worship a guru, and especially if you're aligned with one. You know when you're aligned with a guru, when you meet them, when you talk to them, and you just go, wow, I actually feel so in sync with this person. I feel so connected. And again, Saima was already part of a lineage that I was already praying to, like El Moria and stuff like that, and I was already working with Ascended Masters through my angel cards and stuff like that. So there was a lot of Ascended Mastery I was already working on. So working with Saima just seems natural. So she came to me a lot of dreams. She kind of worked with me non-physically. She taught me a lot about love. I prayed to her a lot. I've gotten a lot of answers about love and stuff like that, because I've always felt that love is the greatest energy that you can master. And I think a lot of the Hindu gods would be based upon goodness, kindness, and charity work, and they're a lot of my main kind of focuses in my life. It's basically who I am to the core. So I have a few pictures here that I keep around for my satsang. One is new. So this one here is Lakshmi. So Lakshmi is the goddess of abundance. You can see all the gold coins coming down from the elephants here. So I just recently put that up because I said to her, need some good luck. Saima's name is actually Saima Lakshmi Devi. And isn't she beautiful though? Look at her long hair. Saima has put up a lot of crap for me. And she's just beautiful, wise, but she's also like really, really smart. She's got like, you know, degrees in like psychology and stuff like that as well. She's very, very intelligent. So I really, really respect her. And she's one of the first women to be recognized as a guru in India. So she's definitely made waves. She does an awful lot of charity work. She does, you know, an awful lot of work to do with feeding kids in India, but also she tries to set up charity organizations in Ireland and other places that she goes, which is great. So she like passes it on. But I love Saima. But like my devotion is in the morning, I like to say to her, JJ Saima. To her in the morning, I say, I love you, Saima. Thank you, Saima. You know, maybe not thank you enough, but that's what I do. Another master I would pray to would be El Moria. El Moria is one of the great ascended masters. He would be very much similar to Jesus's energy. Again, El Moria was apparently one of the people who taught Jesus back in the day, when he traveled to India, and Master Maitreya and stuff like that. And then I've got Buddha, and it's the Tibetan Buddha, because the laughing Buddha will be more a happy energy, whereas the Tibetan Buddha is more wisdom, knowledge, and mastery. So that energy will kind of sync with me a little bit better. Again, there's many different types of Buddhas, so you need to be careful about what Buddha sets you get. And then I have a little elephant, and he would be my representation of Shiva, the destroyer, but also the remover of obstacles. So I love you, Shiva, and you keep me safe. But also he helps me remove obstacles. So satsang, what do I do? So I normally start satsang with like a workshop with like clearing the energy in the room, getting it ready. Satsang is very much about being completely lucid, letting go of your ego. The first time I've tried to teach satsang to my normal meditation classes, they're always a bit rigid and a bit like, I'm not going to start clapping my hands like a hippie. But it's, once you get into it, you'd be surprised how addictive it can become. And the amount of joy that it brings you in your life is amazing. So I'm going to start with like, you know, chanting. Okay, so the basics of chanting would be choosing something in Sanskrit, which is the sacred language that was used in India to transcribe a lot of the texts and stuff like that of spirituality in India. So, say for instance, we start with something simple. So I've got my maraca here. So we're going to do a bit of music. Sometimes I use my bongos. Yes, that's why I have bongos, because this is what I use them for. So I'm going to start with something really simple called Om Shanti. So Om would be based mostly in the crown chakra. Om will be to align yourself with your higher self. Shanti is remover of negative energies. So real simple idealism. Everyone wants to remove at least some part of their life that is negative. Okay. So how do we start? Okay, so hands together, do a prayer. Om Jai Jai Sama, Om Jai Jai Almoria, Om Jai Jai Lakshmi, Om Jai Jai Buddha. Thank you to the masters that have helped me so far. Thank you to my angels, my shaman, spirit guides, all you guys. You're a great team. Thank you to God on high, and to everyone who I pray to. Today I would like to remove some negative energy. And basically what you do is you chant Om Shanti, Om Shanti. So from there's not really much guidance. It's pretty much Om Shanti, 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 Om Shanti, 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 Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. You always notice if you start with a lot of intensity, it is very much meaning how stressed you are. So how fast is your brain going when you go Om Shanti, okay? So Om Shanti, 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 Om Shanti, 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 Om Shanti, 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 Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Your eyes are good close as well. Om Shanti, 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 Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. So how much more is it going to connect you, chanting this? One of the best things I like to use is if you have mala beads, or if you have like a bracelet, even if you have something as simple as a set of pearls. So say for instance, if you have a set of pearls, and count down them, this is what mala beads are for. So you count them, it's a bit like prayer beads, rosewood beads, that sort of thing. So you go Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Om Shanti, and you trace it with your nail. And I will sit there in bed, and if I'm having a bit of a bad day, and I'm not really in tune enough to meditate, I'll sit there and go Om Shanti, 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 Om Shanti, 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 even in my head, Om Shanti, 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 and I'll just, try to calm myself down if I get angry, if I'm out and about, and it's really crowded, like just too much negativity, I just start going in my head, Om Shanti, 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 Om Shanti, 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 and I find after a few minutes, it's a distraction to the brain, but like psychologically, distraction helps with chronic pain, it helps with stress and all that kind of stuff as well. So chanting repetitively really gets you into the zone of the energy as well. So if you say, for instance, psychologically say, I want a bar of chocolate, okay, you are going to start tasting chocolate in your mouth. You're going to start energetically feeling, but also your hormones are going to release happy hormones before you've even touched the chocolate, because you are remembering how good it feels like to eat chocolate. You're remembering how the energies make you feel, how the taste makes you feel. You start salivating. So how is it that our bodies tends to already hit that point when we haven't even had the chocolate? It's because psychologically we have trained ourselves to like chocolate, to be happy in the moment of eating chocolate. Why is it when you're walking the whole way home and you need to go to the bathroom, but also when you get to the door and you've got to put your key in, all of a sudden it's like, oh my God, I need to go to the bathroom, because you're near the bathroom. So you're there like hopping on each leg, kind of going, oh God, it's getting closer. Why is it that you look at the time, you realize it's 9 o'clock at night, and you go, oh God, I'm getting tired, because it's night, because you're preparing yourself for sleep. Why is it that you get into your room and the tiredness just hits you, and you look at your bed and you go, wow, remember how good it is to sleep, and your body starts to relax and prepare for sleep. So what happens when you're out and about and you start thinking about meditation? So using your chanting is a perfect way when you're in public to be able to calm yourself down. So Shanti would be the first one that I would teach you. I do have another video there that actually has Sanskrit in it. So saying the Sanskrit words, and there's translation for the English for them as well and what they mean. But pick a sentence once a week and do your mantras. This week what I'm working is I have 2 different crystal bracelets, and on one of them I'm doing Om Shanti, and the other one I'm doing Om Shri Guruvyo Namaha. And that is clearing your path, basically, to any manipulation about people, to any negative energy that you might have projected yourself on it. And it really helps me get me more in a centered place. I feel much more balanced, I can think straight, and also I'm not having those niggling thoughts of, oh, I don't want to do this because this might happen. I'm actually getting up and getting stuff done, which is great. And sometimes when you have anxiety or depression or anything like that that you have to fight against, or if you're dealing with chronic pain like I am, sometimes the uplifting yourself is so much better. But definitely chanting. I walk in and I notice I always like to take a picture of myself before chanting and take a picture afterwards. I'll actually do that this week. A picture before and afterwards, or talking before and after chanting, and you'll see the difference. But I did a good bit last night, and it was more sort of breaking through a good bit of negativity. But you'll see this time next week, I'm going to spend a whole week doing chanting, and I'll keep you up to date with how I'm going with it. I really think that you're going to love chanting, so I'm going to do a video, another meditation video, with just Om Shanti, just to start you off. And again, if you have any questions about Sanskrit, or if you want to know any specific ones that will be good for different areas, let me know. Again, keep using your mudras, keep using your essential oils, anything that really helps you. Just try everything, you know. But again, when you're doing your satsang, just lose control. Just clap your hands, dance around the room, do it naked, do whatever makes you feel like you've lost control, because we hold on to so much anger, so much pain, so much suffering, and we're just like this by the end of the week. Saturday comes and we're like, oh God, I need a nap. Whereas after meditation, after satsang, you're just like, I can let go. Because it's almost like letting go of the egoic part where we have to construct this person walking straight with our head held, good posture, and being polite in public and all this stuff. And chanting is just you in your room, clapping your hands like an idiot. You start laughing after a while. You start laughing and you start breaking those barriers of sadness, of control, and then you get back to yourself. It's like pressing a reset button. You know, have you ever sang in the shower and just felt like, God, I really feel like myself today? That's what Satsang does. And it might be your favorite song now, but it will be one day, because you'll associate it with, that's the thing that got me through the unhappy times. And chanting, again, has had a negative image so far, but chanting rewires your brain. Chanting, it releases endorphins. It makes you laugh, makes you cry if you're really getting something out. It's really invigorating. So I really recommend trying satsang. So choose your guru. Choose who the person you want to devote to. If it's a family member, it's a friend. You can devote your chanting to if someone is in a lot of pain or sick, or, you know, I was saying Om Shanti the other day for a family member who was dealing with a lot of negativity. And you have to ask the soul permission, obviously, first. And I was asking for Om Shanti myself to remove a lot of negative energy. But yeah, I don't think I have anything more to say about satsang. Try to use any instruments you can. It always brings a little bit more into musicality. I don't know if you're a musician as well or you play an instrument. It really just helps you sync with the musical energies as well. But try satsang this week. Just sit in your room and sing Om Shanti. It doesn't matter the tune. It doesn't matter if you're out of tune. It just means that, you know, count yourself for 10 minutes, maybe do 20 minutes at the start, and it is better than meditation. Meditation can calm you down, but if you're already calm, that's not what you need. What is it that you need during meditation? This is what I was talking about before. When people do one type of meditation, they expect it to work. That's not how it works. You have to find what you need. And generally, my thing will be self-defamation, is that I'm always putting myself down. So chanting removes the negative energy in my head. Chanting makes me remember happiness. I'm reattuning myself to happiness. Meditation calms me down, but if I'm already a calm person, there's only so much I can do. Now, I still do my meditation every day, but again, you've got to do the work to get to the place of happiness, the joy, the asana, the ascended planes. If you really want to get there and it's not working, change your style, change your meditation, and try something new. Just like Satsang. Namaste.